Life Audio.
Welcome to the Crosswalk Devotional. We're glad to have you listening with us. Today's topic is what it means to be the pleasing aroma of Christ. We'll return with the devotional after a brief message from our sponsors.
Hey everybody, I'm Dale.
And I'm Tamara.
And we're hosts of the Kainos Project podcast,
where we help you tackle ancient Christian truths in everyday settings.
The word kainos means new, and that's exactly what we want to do on our podcast. Bring something new from what is old in our faith.
And on this show, you might hear us explore topics like what the Bible has to say about student loan forgiveness, discuss how the Satanic Temple affects our view of religious liberty in America, or even question why is it that so many people are having rapture anxiety.
To learn more about the podcast, go to lifeaudio.com.
The Historical Jesus Podcast is the sweeping saga of the life and times of Galilean Jesus of Nazareth, as well as the faith, religion, and church founded to honor and disseminate his acts and teachings. Join me, Mark Vinette, on this fascinating journey through time, exploring the many great works of Christian theology, literature, architecture, music, and art inspired by the words and deeds of Jesus Christ.
The Aroma of Christ, written and read by Whitney Hopler. But thanks be to God, who always leads us as captives in Christ's triumphal procession and uses us to spread the aroma of the knowledge of Him everywhere. For we are to God the pleasing aroma of Christ, among those who are being saved and those who are perishing. To the one we are an aroma that brings death, to the other an aroma that brings life. And who is equal to such a task? 2 Corinthians 2:14-16 NIV. When my daughter Honor was 3 years old, she asked to go shopping with me for some new candles for our home. I told her she could choose a few candles with her favorite fragrances. She began methodically sniffing candles at the store, row by row, until she had sniffed every single one of the more than 300 candles in stock. After the first 20 or so, I was already losing patience and telling her to hurry up and choose some. "Wait," she replied simply, continuing her olfactory adventure. Annoyed, I paced around the aisles while watching her. Her face lit up with awe every time she breathed in a new scent. Gingerbread, crisp linen, raspberry, apple pie, lavender, vanilla, cinnamon, rain showers, rose, eucalyptus, pumpkin, spruce, jasmine, sage, and many more. Soon, concerned that I was missing out on a valuable experience, I joined her. Time seemed to stand still as I gave myself over to the wonder of savoring each scent. I don't know how long we were in that candle store, since time no longer mattered while we experienced a sense of awe together. Our sense of smell can usher us into awe-inspiring experiences in many ways. We can enjoy the aroma of freshly baked bread or chocolate chip cookies at a meal and give thanks to God for our food. We can hike in a forest and enjoy the scent of evergreen trees as nature reminds us of God. There are countless other ways that our physical sense of smell can lead us to spiritual awe. When that happens, our souls notice the wonder of God's work around us, and we're filled with gratitude. One way we can thank God for being able to enjoy pleasing scents is to try to live in a way that smells pleasing to God. When we prioritize our relationship with God and ask for His help to be holy day by day, we become the pleasing aroma of Christ that the Bible describes in 2 Corinthians 2:15 NIV. Ephesians 5:1-2 NIV encourages us to follow God's example, therefore, as dearly loved children, and walk in the way of love, just as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us as a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God. In biblical times, people often used incense during worship so that a strong and pleasant fragrance would rise to God along with their prayers. Psalm 141:2 NIV says in part, "May my prayer be set before you like incense." And the book of Revelation describes people's prayers on earth showing up in heaven with the scent of incense. Our physical sense of smell can remind us of the importance of living lives that give off the spiritual aroma of Christ. So let's stay connected to God in prayer and do our best to live in ways that honor Him. When we do, we'll please God and help other people notice how sweet it can be to enjoy relationships with God. Intersecting faith and life. As you reflect on the aroma of Christ, consider these questions. What are some fragrances that help you feel a sense of awe? What memories or emotions those scents evoke? How do they remind you of God's presence and love in your life? How can you intentionally seek out those scents in your life? How can you use your sense of smell to connect with God more and to remind you to live a life that is pleasing to God? What are a few specific decisions you can make to live a life that gives off the aroma of Christ? Further reading. Genesis 8:20-21. Proverbs 27:9. Song of Solomon 1:3. Hosea 14:6. Revelation 8:4.
The Crosswalk Devotional is a production of Life Audio and Salem Media. If you liked what you heard today, please take a second to rate and review this podcast in your favorite podcast app so that more listeners like you can find the show. For more faith-filled, inspirational podcasts, visit us at lifeaudio.com.
Is life feeling chaotic? I get it. I'm Rachel Wojo, host of the Untangling Life podcast. Don't miss the passionate encouragement and faith-based resources you need to help you clear your head and calm your heart. As Shell says, it feels like Rachel always knows what I need to hear. She keeps it real and is so humble. Her podcast is just the cherry on top. Enjoy Untangling Life with Rachel Wojo on lifeaudio.com or your favorite podcast app now.